Dear colleagues, my name is Gediminas. I work with the Public Procurement Office of Lithuania, and today I want to share with you with some of the practices and findings in our country related to using best quality and price ratio criteria in public procurement. So I would like to start with a brief information on the requirements of the Lithuanian public procurement law. Up until recently, the law stated that the price-only criterion can be used in not more than 70% of all procedures with some exclusions. This means that in the other 30% of all cases, it was mandatory to evaluate something more than the price. For example, life cycle cost or price and quality ratio, or life cycle costs and quality ratio. Last year, our contracting authorities were compliant with the requirement of the law and just marginally have surpassed the requirement of the law. The statistics show that the actual utilization of the criteria related to something more than the price was 30.6%. So just a few weeks ago, the president has signed an amendment of the law, and the requirement bar has been raised for the next year to 50%. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of mandatory requirements, as formal requirements also can be reached just formally. I mean, it is always possible to reach the compliance of the law, reach the better percentage of something, but still get unsatisfactory results. Anyway, the requirement of the law is requirement of the law. So really many contracting authorities tried to be compliant with it and reach the required percentages. And in the process, they naturally had many questions like these. What criterions can we use? What can we use this? Can we use that? We need more examples. We need examples of criteria and examples of weights. And in a sense, these are all good questions, and those who ask them are really want to be in legal compliance with the law. We all know that criteria must be linked to subject matter of the contract, be measurable, and so on. There are loads of case law, and both on the national level and on the European level, clarifying what can be and what cannot be used as a quality criteria. This is all great, but there is a key part missing here, a key part missing in these questions, a key part missing in the case law. What is that key part? First of all, it is realization that procurement, or the act of buying, by nature is an economic phenomenon. It's not a legal phenomenon. When we buy something in our life, for ourselves in the shop, we do not think about the laws surrounding the goods we are buying. We mainly are concerned if we are getting the right quality and the right price, and if we are happy with what we have bought. Of course, in public procurement, we need to think about legal compliance. We also must not forget the economic part. As we realized that many our contracting authorities were so concerned with legal compliance that they forgot the economic part, we decided to help them by developing a digital tool which is intended to show what economic logic lies beneath price and quality ratio criterion. What influence does the weightings of the criteria have on the economic output? So the development of the tool started with the intention and idea to program just one formula and to help with the calculations, but formula after formula came 10 formulas and 20, and we lost count at 40 formulas. 40. There are 40 formulas in the tool that have been at some point in time used in one procurement or another throughout the European Union or somewhere else in the world. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't need all those 40 formulas, but everybody needs to understand that there are more than one. And it is for a reason, because all of them can teach us a lot. Now, I would like to give a short glimpse into the tool and how it works. So this is the tool, and as with many other tools, it has been made with Excel spreadsheet. And at the very top, we can choose the formula from the list. At the left side, we have the weightings for the criteria. And let's say we are buying a car and we want to evaluate the quality of bids by technical merits, the existence of heated seats, the existence of a GPS, and rear camera for parking. So this is a yes and or no criteria. If you answer yes, there is a heated seats, you get 15 points, or 10 for GPS or 5 for rear camera. Now, if we get just one bid where the supplier sets the price for 25,000 euro for a car with all those merits, it is the winning bid, indicated in green just below. If we get another bid with the same price of 25,000 euro, the first supplier still wins and the latter will not. Well, in order for the second supplier to win, he needs to submit a lower price. Let's check with 19,000. Nope, he's still not a winner. Let's try with 18,600. Nope, not there yet. And we will try 18,570. Oh, yes, he's now the winner. So we can see that the weight of 15 for heated seats means that the value of the heated seats for us equals to, I don't know, 7,000 euro. Of course, we might want to check other combinations of possible bids. But if we don't want to play around with numbers as we just did, we want the tool to do this calculation for us. We can do that and we can run a simulation. The simulation is done, and now we see that the prices of bids should be like this, as we see on the screen, in order for other bids to be able to win a competition. As we see, a car without the heated seats and the GPS would win the competition only if it costs 11,500 euro. That does not sound realistic for a new car. Of course not. So what does this mean? It means that we have set an incorrect weights for the criteria. So let's try with different weights. Say 90 or 2. So the calculation is complete, and we can see that the difference in prices is now lower, and it is more realistic. Now let's make one more thing. Let's make the third bid winning by lowering its price by just a little bit. For example, 22,000. Now let's change the formula. I'll select from the list another formula. Did you see that? I have not changed the bids. I have not changed the weights. I just changed the formula, and the winner has changed. Interesting, isn't it? So what does it tell us? First of all, as you have seen from the demonstration of the tool, bids scoring more in quality points are, so to speak, allowed to be more expensive. So when we are thinking about quality criteria that we might want to use, we must first define what is needed, and this will be our technical specification requirements. And then we must think what is not required but nice to have quality, for which we are prepared to pay more if needed. This realization really helps to choose what criteria to use. Moreover, it is really important to understand that different buyers might have different needs and different wants. So naturally, their technical specifications might vary, but so does the quality criteria. When deciding what to use as quality criteria, contracting authorities may look for examples in different guidelines. They may look at other procurements from other contracting authorities, but they never ever should just copy paste and use something someone else has used, as these criteria used by someone else will just reflect the needs and wants of that somebody else, but not necessarily of the contracting authority who is trying to buy something for itself now. So the criteria are something for what I as a buyer am prepared to pay more if needed. And another important thing that I must remember, that I am prepared to pay more for something that this more is really worth more. I should not always choose the most expensive bid just for the reason it has more quality. I may consider paying for something more if that something is really, really worth that much more. What defines that limit in a procurement procedure? Yes, you may have guessed it right. It's weightings of the criteria, but not only weightings, but weightings in combination with formulas. Formulas define how fast and how easily those weightings of points are traded off. So you simply cannot speak about weightings without knowing about formulas. And as you have seen from the demonstration of the tool, sometimes, if not always, the same criteria, same weighting, same bids, same everything, but a different formula can give you a different outcome, different winning bid. So this means that without formula, weighting ratio of 80 for price and 20 for quality, or 60 for price or 40 for quality, etc., are just numbers that do not mean anything. You cannot say anything about them if you don't know what formula has been used in the procurement. Still, we see a lot of publications by some agencies who provide examples of good practices, where they say that somebody has procured food or cars or construction works or something, and they have used these criteria and that criteria and these weightings for those criteria. So when we see these examples, what can we say? The only thing that we can say is, okay, this is nice, but what was the formula they used? If we apply the same criteria with the same weightings with a different formula, we might end up getting a disaster, but not another example of good practice. So never ever can we copy the criteria without knowing what formula was used. Never. The same applies for various auditors who, upon seeing a combination of two numbers, 60 and 40, are very quick to say, oh, you have set too much of a weight for quality. Okay, yes, no, maybe. How do you know? Did you look at the formula? Have you performed calculations before drawing this conclusion? No? Then you are talking about nothing. You know nothing, and you wrote down your conclusion from the ceiling. The same goes for the suppliers who sometimes claim that they do not participate in the procurement procedures where they think that the weight for the quality is too low. In many cases, they also draw this conclusion, as we say, from the ceiling or from the sky. So once more, you have to perform calculations with the formula, with weights, and with the imaginary or real bids to see what the end result might be. This is just the only way to know. As I have mentioned, there are more than 40 formulas that we have included in the tool. So do you need every one of them, and can you use every of them? No, of course not. But you have to understand that there are more than one, and that they might give you different outcome. Some of the formulas give you a predictable outcome. Some of them don't. Some of them are really prone to manipulations from supplier side. Some of them are not. Some of the formulas exchange your money for an additional quality at a constant rate, but some of them do not. For example, if 10% more quality might end up costing 10% more, and 20% more quality 20% more, you have a constant rate of substitution of quality to money. But for some formulas, it is different. They might value any subsequent increase of quality less and less, as in this example. or they might value any subsequent increase in quality more and more, as in this example. So it is very important, if you are aware of what formula you choose to use and what kind of trade-off of quality for money this formula may give in a real life scenario. So there are mainly two types of formulas, relative and absolute. A relative formula is a formula in which the points awarded to the bid depend on other bids, for example, on the cheapest one. Sadly, this formula was the most popular one in Lithuania, and we do believe it is still most popular in many other countries. Why do I say sadly? Because there are a lot of drawbacks with this kind of formulas. For example, their results are unpredictable, and they can be easily distorted with very high or very low price bids. And it's very hard, or sometimes nearly impossible, to do a proper simulation and evaluate in advance what monetary value will be assigned to each of the quality points. So really, when using relative formulas, we might end up buying a cat in a bag. So the recommendation that we give to our contracting authorities is this: never choose a relative formula, never. Use an absolute one. And of course, try it out before the actual procurement. And before moving to the last slide of my presentation, I really want to rehabilitate the lowest price criterion. It is not a bad criterion. It is not the source of all problems with quality in public procurement, nor is the price and quality ratio criteria a salvation. The quality we get depends on many things: proper technical specification, proper evaluation of bids, proper supervision of the contract performance, etc. And fail any of these, and chances are you'll get zero quality. But the same goes with the procedures where you use the best price and quality ratio. You must do everything the same as with the lowest price criterion, set the proper minimum requirements, perform proper bid evaluation, proper supervision of the contract, plus set proper criteria, formulas, and weightings. This means that if you fail any of these, chances are you still will not get the result you desire. So what would I advise you to remember? What ideas I want you to take with you from my presentation? To sum up, I want you to remember that there are a lot of different formulas. All of them trade your money in exchange for quality, but they do it differently. Quality criteria must be something that you as a contracting authority are willing to pay more for. How much more? Well, the formula and the weightings you choose decide that. And you cannot guess the weights. Calculations must be made in advance. Always do a simulation before the procurement. And last but not least, proper technical specification, proper bid evaluation, and proper contract supervision is crucial. So thank you for your attention. I hope it was useful. Goodbye.